It's a pleasure to continue the session and share with you what I did share with those investment bankers. Apart from the technology trends, I wanted to highlight something that is close to my heart and I think is really important: the cloud. The cloud can cover many things, as you can see here, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with all those concepts. But let's jump in. So much has changed in just 20 years. In February in 2020, there are now more than 86 private cloud unicorns, including companies like HashiCorp, UiPath, Snowflake, Stripe, Toast, Procore, and more. While there were zero public cloud companies valued at $1 billion plus at the turn of the 21st century, public cloud companies with a 1 billion plus market capitalization gained significant velocity after 27. As NetSuite went public in that same year and cloud adoption rates increased. In 2010, there were 12 public unicorns. And as the beginning of 2020, there were 54. Of these 54 public companies, 5 familiar tech giants, Salesforce, PayPal, ServiceNow, Shopify, and Adobe, are all worth over 50 billion market cap. In 28, as you can see, and I issue those numbers and those analysis from a very interesting state of the cloud research from Bessemer Venture Partners. In 28, the total market cap of Salesforce, NetSuite, Concur, and Blackbaud and Dealertrack total a little south of 14 billion. By 2015 already, the market cap increased eightfold with the addition of LinkedIn, ServiceNow, along with Salesforce and NetSuite as the top 5 public companies. Roll to February 2020, the market cap of the top 5 public cloud companies hovered just around $616 billion. With the recent economic downturn induced by the pandemic, COVID-19, we did see massive volatility in the top 5 public companies in the month of March and April. Though the cloud is feeling the impact of the recession, and one could expect much more volatility ahead, public markets reflect the cloud's relative resiliency. Yeah, it's moving back, it's growing again. Despite the world economy being in one of the most volatile times since 1929, basically, and seeing a rapid and significant drop in public markets, the cloud computing industry is, in its 2-decade history, has experienced truly exponential growth. As one of the first institutional investors in cloud computing, Bessemer Venture always believed in the cloud and its potential. And I do too. But they've been surprised on how quickly it has surpassed their wildest expectation. Actually, growing at an average 35% compound annual growth rate, CAGR, the public cloud market hit that 500 billion milestone 2 years earlier than Bessemer Venture expected in March 2018. They were delighted to be wrong in that case. Assuming that the industry would continue to grow at the same 35% CAGR, they predicted that it would reach a $1 trillion in a couple of years. But they were wrong again. In a weird twist of fate, exactly 1 year later, on February 5, 2020, they surpassed the $1 trillion market capitalization of the public cloud market with a 45% growth rate. So 2010 to 2015, 65% CAGR. Incredibly fast, slowing down to 35% CAGR, 2015-2019, and 2020, 45% growth. So that tells you the nature of the rebound, an industry to watch. If we do a deep dive on two elements of the cloud market, starting with SaaS, enterprise SaaS vendor market share was led by Microsoft, Salesforce, Adobe, SAP, and Oracle. While SaaS revenue account only for just 20% of the overall enterprise market, that lets you imagine the kind of opportunity for growth in front of the SaaS market and all the SaaS vendors, even if it's for now very concentrated. Another one is infrastructure as a service. As the cloud wars over infrastructure as a service heat up, Amazon continues to dominate the public markets. In fact, AWS is now north of 40 billion annual revenue run rate. We're looking at annual run rate now. They're growing CAGR in the mid 30% while generating billions of dollars of profits at roughly 30% operating income. Unheard of. But it's important to note that Microsoft Azure is gaining significant ground with 17.6% of the market, up from 14.2% in 2018, and continues to grow even faster in the IaaS race. What this means is that legacy and tech giants continue to grow their cloud business as they become profit centers for large tech enterprises. However, among all these statistics about the public cloud markets, this one remains the most impressive across all enterprises. 94% already use cloud service. The compounding power of cloud has been building for 20 years, and this is the most powerful force in all of technology right now. I do believe that strongly. I probably think you expected that, given where I come from. We're living in a cloud-first world. While many would say software is eating the world, remember that article? I'm sure most of you read it. I think that's only half the story. Cloud is powering the future of software. At current growth rate, cloud could penetrate nearly all enterprise software in a few years. By 2025, Bessemer Venture expects the cloud to penetrate 50% of enterprise software. At the same growth rate, they predict that cloud will power over 75% of software by 2030. You probably know Aaron Levy, CEO of Box, which is, by the way, a Bessemer portfolio company, recently said, the cloud is becoming as fundamental to how the world runs as the electric grid, telecom network, or the railroad. And I think you would agree. The question remains, is this a good or a bad thing for us as cloud investors or for cloud founders? For those of you starting today, you just missed the single biggest enterprise tailwind of your lifetime. There's still opportunity ahead for all of us. If the global economy has learned anything during this extreme public health crisis, it's that digital transformation, largely powered by the cloud, is no longer an option, but an absolute imperative. Bessemer Venture believes that the cloud industry, which is $172 billion, and the cloud delivery model will transform and grow beyond the enterprise software, which is already today at $456 billion, and even technology at $3.7 trillion. The cloud has already moved beyond the enterprise software market and will continue to as we turn toward the cloud for things like transportation, healthcare, education, and more. This is one of the topics I really care about, and I would be happy to hear about what you think or what you experience. And let's discuss. Feel free to engage. See you soon.